started living in share houses as a uni student, I spent heaps of time talking about saving the planet, but not a lot of actual time in the garden. The exception to this rule was the day before property inspection, when I'd head outside and hack away like a mad woman in the hope that I wouldn't lose my bond. The point I was missing is that gardening in itself is an unbeatable activity. It's good for the soul and it's good for the planet. So in this episode, fellow renters, I'm going to show you how you can surround yourself with beautiful plants and start gardening. And you don't even need to have a backyard. So to get started, the first thing you want to do is check how wet your soil is, whether it's in the ground or in a pot. Now, depending on what sort of plants you're growing will determine how much water they need, but a really good rule of thumb is just to make sure you keep the soil moist. When you do water, make sure you water the roots of the plants, not the leaves, and avoid watering during the hottest part of the day. It's pointless and you'll lose a lot of the water to evaporation. Oh, and before you go out and start watering, make sure you check with your local water restrictions, just to make sure you're watering in the right time. To keep your garden beautiful, or even just alive, it's a terrific idea to use grey water to irrigate, especially in the warmer months. Grey water is a recycled water from your laundry, shower or bath. It's great for most of your non-edible plants, especially if you filter the water before you add it, and if you take care to use low chemical soaps and detergents. The other option is to convert a green wheelie bin into a rainwater tank. This is a cheaper option than buying a full-blown water tank, plus you can take it with you when you move. When you do water your garden, group your pot plants according to how much water they need. That'll save you time and water. Another way to make the most of your irrigation is to add compost and mulch to your garden. This will help the soil retain moisture and the mulch will reduce evaporation. Compost can be made at home out of your kitchen scraps, green waste, even pizza boxes and old newspapers. It's also a great way of reducing waste that's going to landfill. Once you've nailed your watering regime, try to stay on top of your weeding. It's really therapeutic, and by getting rid of your weeds, you'll be reducing the competition for water and nutrients between the plants you want and the ones you don't. Once you've watered and weeded, if your garden still looks like it'll be picked for a backyard makeover show on TV, you may want to make some changes. Now, before you go ahead, it's always best to double check with your landlord. You don't want to do anything that might get you in trouble. You want to think about what you put in your garden really carefully. Sure, English ivy might seem like a good idea, but it's incredibly vigorous and may end up taking over your whole garden, which can jeopardise the health and well-being of your other plants and may actually lose you your bond. Locally native plants are often cheap and low maintenance, so check your council's website for a listing of Indigenous plants. Just about anything that can be grown in the ground can be grown in a container of some sort. So pots and hanging baskets are fantastic options for renters. Plus, when you move out, you can take your garden with you. Now, when you're planting into containers, the thing you need to look for is good drainage, but just about anything can be used. Think pots, pans, old boots, cups. It really is a cracking form of recycling.
Guys, where's the toaster gone? It's always going missing. I think Helen's got it.
Plants that do really well in pots include succulents and many native species. So mix them up in a container with nice, free-draining potting mix and some inorganic mulch. Loads of edibles do well in pots too. Find a nice sunny spot and hey presto, you're growing your own produce and keeping your food miles down. Oh, and don't forget your vertical spaces. Raspberries and cherry tomatoes do really well in hanging baskets, and you can grow fruit like passion fruit and kiwi fruits along your fence. Growing from seed is another excellent money-saving idea and allows you to grow a bunch of varieties that may not be readily available as potted plants or seedlings. Herbs and veggies are particularly good when grown from seed, so when you're selecting seeds for these sorts of plants, look for open-pollinated, non-hybridised seeds. This means that at the end of the growing period, you can collect the seed, store it and use it again next year. I'm a big fan of having plants inside the home as well, but that doesn't include the vegetable on the beanbag over there.
I heard that.
Unlike your housemates, plants can actually help to beautify your home. And if you pick the right ones, they'll help clean and oxygenate the air around the clock. These types of plants are known as air filtering plants and can include things like the Ericeum palm, mother-in-law's tongue, and the golden pothos, or devil's ivy. Now, NASA's actually done research and they found that having these types of plants in your home can actually increase your blood oxygen levels by about 1% over 10 hours. They can also help reduce things like headaches, eye irritation, asthma, and other respiratory problems, which is fantastic and means that plants don't have to be outside to be of benefit. Oh, and remember, plants and pets don't always mix, so it's important to do your research before you bring anything home. So there you have it. Change really does begin in your own backyard. And even if you don't have a backyard, you can still surround yourself with beautiful plants. And as always, have a look at sgaonline.org.au for more information.